Joined today by Alex Fraser from RTB Heli. And to start with, when you came on, I thought maybe you've got like a backdrop like I have here, but that's legit out the back there.
Yep, that's our spot.
How
That's
good.
public by yeah.
So
That's where we
you're
are.
you're in the helicopter hangar.
We are, which is about 100 meters from our house. Yeah.
Brilliant. Do you want to tell the people that are listening and watching then a little bit about what you guys do and why you're standing inside a helicopter hangar?
We run an agricultural helicopter operation. We've got two helicopters now, and most of our work is spraying some fert and pest control. That generally makes it up the majority of our workload, and some forestry as well. Um, Nick, my husband, he's the pilot. He's got lots of experience, and when we moved to where we are now, we just saw an opportunity with the level and quality of work that was getting done around us, and he saw that and thought he could do better. He was working for someone else at the time, and then finally convinced him that the only way he was going to be really happy was doing it on his own. So that was the first hurdle to get over, and then since then we've just worked at making it happen.
Nice
Yeah,
one. So you've had to build from absolute scratch, right? No customers or clients or anything,
yeah,
and just go for it.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yep, pretty much.
yeah. And so how many years deep are you into this now?
Just reached our second year. Yeah,
Nice.
so just over a few weeks past 2 years.
And there's no secret that at the moment the agricultural space is, finding it tough, right? With
Yeah,
all sorts of
yeah.
prices down. So that must bring a bit of worry about starting a business and going so deep in an industry that is economic environment that's pretty challenging right now, right?
Yeah, it's been a pretty rocky year, but yeah, it's been a rocky year. We've had a lot going on. Took the risk of growing our business by adding another pilot because the perfect person came along. So we've just been working at keeping ourselves going, really, maintaining that workflow, which our 90-day program we did with you guys has been. I hate to think what state we would be in without having done that. I'm so glad we booked it in when we did. It's just, been such a big help.
Awesome. Well, do you want to expand on that a little bit then, and then we'll go back to sort of the start of what you were looking for. But we worked through the 90-day program together, so we could get a feel of where you guys were at. What did you get out of it, do you think?
Uh, try, yeah. It's hard to put in, to succinct words, but a lot of it comes back to like the focus and mindset, like just maintaining that focus. It's really easy when you're like husband and wife working from home. We've got 3 young kids, so there's just constantly so much to juggle, but it was that focus that it gave us, and the actions, like stepped out, like just and the accountability on those actions, and then once you start ticking them off, that just adds to the motivation, and it's like a cycle that just keeps going. And
Mm.
so that was like the mindset and the focus, and then the actions, and then just that cycle that it created. It's just been so beneficial.
I think it helps build momentum, right? And one thing you said to me the other day was about, decreasing the amount of procrastination as such.
Yeah, 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 because it's easy to be like, oh my God, I'm so busy, there's so much to do, and then like you just realize that's just not it's not productive, but then you actually recognize it and you're like, okay, just block that out and focus on one thing at a time, actually completing it, not just like starting a whole bunch of stuff and then oh, that'll do, move on. Yeah, just actually completing it, which, yeah, it seems simple, but that was
Yeah.
like a really big block that, yeah, to
I
get
think
through.
something we all battle with, right, is like do the work, but it's then like what is the work to do? Because it's so easy in
Yeah, yeah,
business to just do all
yeah.
the stuff,
Oh,
but
it's
then
everything. I got to do it all, but really, there's a few things that are really important to
yeah,
do, and the rest can kind of work around that.
yeah, nice. And okay, so if we go back to the start then of before we started doing the 90 days, when what led you to put your hand up to get some help as such?
It was like a series of events that kind of led to, like uncertainty around farming and prices. Then the winter, the work that we kind of budgeted on didn't come through because of a little grub that just didn't turn up in the main area we work in. So, and then we had 2 extra staff that we had taken on board. So it was like this perfect storm really of stress. And
Mm,
we realized, well, we knew that, yeah, things were getting tough, and yeah, it was time to reach out for some help. We just really needed an objective opinion from someone that knew what they were talking about, really. So I'd been following, yeah, Next Advisor and Keep the Change, and yeah, you sucked me in with your marketing, but we were already a fan. Like, I was already a fan, so you'd already done that part. So it was just a matter of getting in touch and committing
mm.
financially, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I actually remember when we had the call, like we didn't actually speak on the phone for that long, and I sent you over what would go through and work through, and I was thinking, I don't know about this one because I always step myself into the business owner's shoes and think,
Yeah.
oh, like everything around you would be negative in terms of payout, in terms of prices for sheep and beef, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, it'd be
This
very
money
hard.
going out, going out, going out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking it'd be very hard for them to justify that this would be a good investment. They'll know that it is, but they'll have to figure out that they want to do it. And then you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think you said to me, you were like, I know you don't take excuses, so fuck it, let's just start or something like that.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much, which is ideal. Yeah.
yeah,
That's the big thing. We recognize that in you guys, that you're just, in Nick's words, you are the doers. So yeah,
yeah,
and that's what we related to a lot. Yeah.
yeah. I think in the time that we're in terms of the economy and stuff, you have to be doing stuff right, as you've learned, right? You can't just hope. Like as we always say, the market won't come to you. You've got to go to the market now. And I think
Yep.
the good thing about this program for you guys is that you're actually willing to do and to take action and try things that a lot of people wouldn't do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It did.
We're so we've got such a great team, and we do not want to let lose that. So
Mm,
I mean, that helps the driving factor,
yeah.
along with, like, yeah, keeping ourselves going, but it's the team as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Did the 90 days differ to what yourself and Nick kind of thought it was going to be like in terms of what we are going to do and work through?
Yes and no. Like, we knew it was going to be a really good investment, and we 100% got that. But what was different, we found, was how our mindset changed over that time. Like, because it was, yeah, we were pretty like, holy shit, what are we going to do? Like, how do we get through this? And then by the end, we're like, okay, sweet, like, we've got our plan. We just need to stick to that, and we can do it, and it's going to be all right. We just got to, keep taking those actions, and keep looking ahead instead of like burying your head in the sand and thinking, oh shit. Yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly. It was that whole mindset. Yeah.
yeah, and I guess that brings us to a major investment that you made during the 90 days? And I think, you guys were already sitting on doing this anyway before we spoke, but it's not too often that people buy an asset like this. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so we bought a helicopter Jet Ranger, which we were before we started with you guys, we were thinking, is it actually the right time to do this? And then, just keeping that planning going, and then we made it happen, which was massive. But there's lots of behind the scenes. You don't just rock up to a helicopter yard and hand over some cash.
Yeah.
Well, we did anyway.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is you guys went down there and then flew it back, right, and made some content flying it back too, and celebrated the fact that it's a pretty big milestone. It's massive.
It was massive, and it was cool to be able to just get rid of the kids for 2 days, 48, not even 48 hours, but enjoy that time together, because as soon as it was back, it was going to work. So it was nice to have that time to reflect on the awesome journey back home. Yeah.
I think one of the things that we worked on in terms when you talk about mindset, just so I'll help unpack a little bit of that too, is that where your business is very different to other businesses, as we spoke about throughout the 90 days, is that, some businesses, they'll make money and they can pull it out and they can do the things in their personal life with that money. And then they go on the cycle of kind of, okay, is it a bigger house? Is it more material things? Is it holidays? Is it less time on the tools, etc.? But your plan is very different, right? It is basically secure work, pay down the debt, and build up assets, and it's going to take a long time. So you've almost got to set your mindset up for, we know this is the plan, we know we're doing the right things, we know we need to make the actions happen so that we can achieve this. We can't just look at what's in our bank account and that's going to be oh great, we've got heaps of cash, because it's probably going to come in, go out, we'll slowly build up a buffer. But you really do have, a 5 to 10 year plan in front of you. Whereas I think a lot of business owners think they have a 5-year plan, but mostly sort of see the next 1 to 2 years and just go about chipping away. And then they reassess once they get to there of okay, what is possible now?
100%. It's definitely the long term game for us. Which is good and bad. It's hard. It is hard, but we know where we want to get to, so just keep going towards that.
Nice. And the cash flow planning side of things is pretty pretty big for you guys, right? Because you've got to be so on the ball with that. I think some business owners they can't ignore it and things seem to sort of work until something breaks, whereas for you guys, you basically have to be keeping that up to date weekly, right?
Yeah, it's pretty key to make sure everything's going to work out. Basically, it's just got we've got big ins and we've got massive outs, so we just have to always be aware of where we're sitting, especially at this stage. We're trying to pay down quite a lot of debt and keep that growth happening. So it's have to keep on top of the cash flow to make sure those are always in balancing out.
Your income can be very seasonal too, right? So it makes it even more important to understand the highs and the lows.
And that's the cash flow. It's always changing, because you can plan for the months what you think the season's going to be like, and then it can be super dry or super wet or none of this pest or grub or and it just changes so dramatically. So that is our big focus, is building up that buffer so we don't have that cash flow stress throughout the year as much. That's the goal. Yeah,
nice. Well, there's not too many clients throughout my career that I can say have brought a chopper throughout the year. And there's also very few that are husband and wife combinations too. So for the people that are thinking about maybe getting into business with their significant other, what's that like?
It's good. We've been together for a very long time, so we know each other very well. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses. It definitely has its ups and downs. It's hard to switch off. Like our office currently is in our bedroom. So, like you literally can't get that distance. You have to work really hard at like that's enough, like focus on the family, doing something else. But we've got that shared goal, like we're both 100% on board. We know where we both want to get to, and that's the reason, like our why is such a strong factor. So you just work to that. Yeah.
Nice. Can you
Yeah.
point to anything throughout this that, what it's done for you in terms of outcomes specifically for you as an individual?
Yeah, big question. Me as an individual has taught me like being a lot more efficient with my time. I like being busy, but I recognize the line between busy and too busy now. Like, and especially with the kids, like I have my hours that I do work, and then I try to stick to those. Otherwise, I just turn into a raging biatch, basically. So it's recognizing those time frames and making the most of the time that I've got. Yeah, and keeping the kids, keeping kids as part of it, working around them because they're all part of it too. So
Yeah. I think I see them doing donuts in the driveway at times. So you got a bit on your plate to handle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. That was you. And I think you said to me the other day, like it's encouraged you to just be a bit more real with yourself, right? Which I think is you explaining before.
Yeah, definitely. Just like I said, I like being busy, and then recognizing in myself I'm like busy can mean a lot of different things. Like, yeah, and I've recognized that I'm busy at doing lots of things and then ending up in a mess of like overwhelm because I've started so many things and I haven't followed it through to the end. So that was recognizing that and being like, nah, just get this done properly. Like yeah.
Yeah. One of those things.
Thing.
One of those things is sending emails out to farmers, which I want to make a specific point of because, as you know, so many people tell me, "Oh no, we don't want to do email. Email doesn't work, etc." But you guys get heaps of good feedback, and you would be, I think, in the range where people will be like, "Oh, farmers definitely wouldn't want an email," but you get heaps of good feedback, right?
We've had heaps of good feedback. With the newsletter, we really wanted to make sure that it was just an easy read, interesting, and giving some type of help or information. Like we're not trying to sell anything in the emails. We're trying to help educate people around our industry, and like we have come in like our point of difference that we are aiming for is that we provide the best quality service in this area, and that does come at a higher price than what some of our competitors are. And so we're trying to show that value that we're providing for that that quality in those emails and the community. Like RTB Heli to us is like we are a team. We couldn't do it without all like our loadies and our pilots, and our family is part of this business, and the newsletter and what we try and put out in our socials is just trying to bring everyone into that because that's what we see it as. Like we care about what we're doing.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's awesome. There'd be people listening and watching that will probably see helicopters in the air spraying things when they're out and about, and they've probably got no idea, like, why is that happening? What's actually being done? So I guess this could be a good chance as well, just briefly to explain why it's so important and what's going on.
There's, yeah, most of it's spraying weeds and crops and pasture to keep that animal welfare up to standard. Like if there's too many prickles in the grass, then there's not enough grass for cows and sheep to eat. If there's, you know, too many pests eating that grass, there's not enough food to sustain their stock levels.
Yes.
Nick's probably got the higher
Yeah.
understanding of that, but yeah, we're an agricultural support, so what we do helps farmers produce the best quality that they can, and it's all about timing, really, timing with weather and seasons.
Yeah, our other client who has a helicopter, they're in more pest control, so they'll basically go up in the air and they will be taking out pests that are ruining the infrastructure that we probably all just take for granted. And you know, you don't even think about it in your everyday life because you just go about your life, and then you see how many people are actually like out working in the bush to protect the country and stuff, and these pests, and trap them and whatnot. And then the technology they've got to do that as well. It's so mind-blowing and insightful. And I just feel like those stories aren't probably told well enough in New Zealand, because we've probably got maybe a country calendar once a week or something, and that's about it. And so we don't realize how many people are actually dedicating their lives to making sure that we are cleaner and greener and things like that, and pest free, or trying to reduce some of those pests, and then we just carry on. So it's definitely very important work.
Yeah
Yeah.
Like then there is a lot of negative associations with like the spraying and the chemicals, but everything's a poison if it's not handled correctly. Well, a lot, like so many things, but you know, there's so much training and qualifications and compliance. Like there's so much that goes on behind it, that everything is used as it should be, and like overspray is a huge thing. So like the skill behind spraying out paddocks and areas without going into neighboring boundaries or around riparian fencing, like it's there's so much behind it that it's hard.
It's not as easy as just whacking a helicopter over something and yeah. Cool. So what's in store for RTB Heli coming up?
Just continue keeping our client base happy with our service, and then building that up. Next year it's just a matter of knuckling down and focusing on that, and getting like a nice secure position, hopefully. We're next year we're planning on it being another pretty rocky year for us, so just a matter of focusing on what we can do to keep ahead.
Nice. And that's where that mindset piece comes in massively again, right? Because I think, you know, as we've spoken about, even just knowing that and then thinking, okay, what do we need to do to combat that? You're not going in and then finding out that it's rocky. You basically can foresee what it's going to be like.
And we're not like, okay, we're planning on it being rocky, and we don't feel stressed, and that like don't feel stressed, then we can look at things so much more clearly and with way more focus, and make decisions sensibly, instead of like, fuck, what are we going to do? We'll just do this and hopefully that'll work. It makes a huge difference that the plan. And
I think you said to me the other day, basically in summary, you've got a challenge coming up, or something that you could look to be a challenge, but with the way that you're now looking at things, you've actually spotted it as an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Without going into all the detail as such.
Yeah. So something that we could have, potentially been like, oh shit, what's going to happen there? What are we going to do? It's like, all right, well, how do we make that work for us? Like, because we know that we just got to do the actions and figure out the steps to make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a big change in mindset, flipping from that threat thinking to basically, oh, okay, how can we put this into our favor?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like like it's just so motivating. You just get that, once you decide, right, this is our opportunity, and that belief and mindset to make it happen. We know, we can make that happen. Let's just figure out the steps and who we need to help us get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always the positivity is just such a big help in that, clear drive to get where we want to go to.
All right. Well, your chance to pass on a bit of wisdom, if you like. So, what advice would you have for business owners that are going into a similar environment like yourself, where it's it's going to be challenging and it is what it is, but you've got big goals and you've got your own plan that you want to execute, and maybe the boom and the excitement isn't there as it has been in other years, but for you guys, it is what it is. You've just got to keep going. What wisdom do we have?
Oh, I don't feel like I've got enough experience to be giving wisdom, but basically, like, build your network, I guess, like ask for help. For us, it's been so much better to work with people instead of against people. Like in terms of competitors, like near us. And oh, what else? Yeah, like keep that goal clear of where you want to get to, and the focus, like basically literally write out your to-do list and complete them properly. Don't lie to yourself. Get them
Yeah.
done properly. Yeah. And
Nice.
just keep talking and asking questions, I guess.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm hearing themes of people there. Yeah, that's so true. I think as well, a lot of Kiwis work, they forget that they can almost compete alongside people, like with them, instead of
Yeah.
against them, like you said before.
Yeah.
And yeah, people have all the answers, especially in rural type areas. I think it's a little bit, people are a bit more like, oh yeah, I'll give you a hand. Yeah. Oh, do you need a hand? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sweet. Yeah. And we forget that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you for your time. And it was a heap of fun and a privilege for me to be able to watch you guys pull off a pretty big purchase in terms of the asset and then get some clarity and some confidence. And I'm looking forward to seeing you go through the next iteration of the journey as well. And I'm sure you will find ways to make it happen with the clarity you have around where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We are looking forward to being part of your weekly
Winners group.
winners group. Yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
Really keen for that
Yeah, it's gonna be
starting in the new year. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's going to be great to have you guys in there. There's going to be a very big range of businesses, so I think it'll be good to
That's
see,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, people learning from other businesses. So it's not just Phil and I being like, "This is what this is what you need to do. Come on,
Yeah.
come and do it." Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time again. And if people want to keep an eye on RTB Heli and what you're up to and get some inspiration from what you're doing, there's always something to learn from other business owners. Instagram, RTB Heli, and Facebook as well, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks,
Cool.
Alex.
Have a good Chrissy.
Cheers.